The story of Nala and Damayanti.
Nala's story is told in the Mahabharata and has been adapted into various versions. Nala, the king of Nishada, found a beautiful swan in the forest. The swan told him about Damayanti, a princess from a faraway land known for her immense beauty and personality. An impressed Nala told the swan to go to Damayanti and tell her about him. Later, he was chosen by Damayanti as her husband as a ceremony in which the bride selects her husband from amongst the invitees. It is important to note that Damayanti chose Nala despite the presence of gods who had come to the ceremony as suitors to marry her. All the gods left the palace praising the qualities of Nala and blessing the couple. But when Kali, the god of misfortune, heard everything from the returning gods, vowed to doom the life of Nala out of jealousy. He vowed to divert Nala from the path of Dharma, the path of righteousness and virtue, and to separate Nala and Damayanti. Such was the purity of Nala's mind that it took 12 years for Kali to find a small fault in him and bewitch his soul. Under the influence of evil, Nala played a game of dice with his younger brother Pushkar and gambled away his wealth and the kingdom to him. Pushkar threatened that any citizen who showed sympathy for them would suffer the penalty of being forced to live in the jungle. One night, while Damayanti was sleeping, Nala, under the influence of Kali, deserted her and went away. In the jungle, he saved Karkotaka, Nag, a snake person, from a fire. The Nag used his poison to transform Nala into an ugly dwarf named Bahuka and advised him to serve King Rituparna of a faraway kingdom. Karkotak changed Nala's appearance so that misfortune could no longer identify him. He also gave Nala a magic garment that would restore him to his original form when the time was right. Nala went to King Rituparna and served him as both charioteer and cook. Meanwhile, Damayanti, after realizing that her husband was missing, went ahead in search of him. In her travels, she met ascetics who comforted her, met merchant travelers, met her aunt, the queen of Chedi, and at last managed to reach her father's kingdom. She declared a reward for anyone who would find the hideout of her husband. One of her scouts returned and told her about a charioteer named Bahuka in a faraway kingdom. Damayanti sent a riddle to King Rituparna to confirm Nala's presence at his court. On hearing that Damayanti was going to marry another husband, Bahuka took Rituparna and drove the chariot fast. During the journey, Kali came out from his body and asked for forgiveness for fear of being cursed. Nala forgave him and, in few hours, reached Damayanti's father's kingdom. Through her servant's help, Damayanti found that charioteer named Bahuka was indeed her husband Nala. Both recognized each other, and Nala took on his original form. Knowing Rituparna's skill at dice and numbers, Nala exchanged his skill as a charioteer for knowledge at Dice. Then he set out to regain his kingdom from his brother. Reaching there, he challenged Pushkar for a match either at dice or single combat. Nala staked all the wealth he had earned from his father-in-law and himself as a slave. Driven by the desire of gaining more wealth and further humiliation to his elder brother Pushkar, sure of his own success, accepted a rematch in dice in which he lost and himself became a slave. But Nala then forgave him, for Pushkar was his own little brother. After 4 years of hardship, during which Nala never deviated from the path of righteousness, he had overcome the influence of Kali and regained his kingdom by defeating Pushkar in a rematch. Nala and Damayanti were reunited and lived happily ever after. Kali offered Nala a boon when he left him. Nala sought that whoever read his story would not be affected by the malefic effects of Kali.